yesterday, Canisius was duking it out against Niagara in the quarterfinals with last-second shots by Brian Dukes and second-chance efforts by Clive Bentic. The Canisius Golden Griffins got a 26-point night from Bentic, his career high, and they move on to the semifinals after winning the battle for Western New York supremacy, beating Niagara 72-70. And now the Golden Griffins move on to meet the third-seeded Siena Saints, who battled Manhattan in the late game with help from Scott Knapp and 16 points from Justin Miller. And then the big game winner with just over 4 seconds remaining on the clock from Isaiah Stewart. He scored 17, including the game-winning jumper. It'll be Mike McDonald's Canisius Golden Griffins against Louis Orr's Siena College Saints in the MAAC semifinals coming up next. From the HSBC Arena in Buffalo, New York, it's our MAAC semifinals, game number 2 for the afternoon. The Canisius Golden Griffins against the Siena College Saints. There are just 3 teams remaining here at the 2001 tournament. Iona has already reached the finals, where they will play tomorrow night at 7 o'clock against the winner of this game between the Golden Griffins and the Saints from Siena. And welcome, everybody, to Buffalo along with Jack Armstrong. This is Doug Sherman. Glad you have you with us for this game for the right to go and play in the championship. These two teams, chances are we're going to have ourselves another close game, Jack.
I definitely would say a high-scoring affair. In the 2 games that they met, both averaged over 80 points. Siena gave up 93 points in their 2 games against Canisius in a split. So needless to say, our neck brace is going to be able to be on today.
Through the play-in game and through the quarterfinal, Clive Bentic has been money from outside and inside for the Golden Griffins.
Talk about a guy who's been a clutch performer. 4 3-point shots last night. He does it in a lot of ways. Off the catch, he's very capable when you sag down the post, and he's definitely one of those guys in the offense on the reversal pass, really understands where to get his shots, and definitely someone in transition as well that can create off the bench. Clive Bentic, a clutch performer from deep for the Canisius Golden Griffins.
And of course, it was Bentic who had that game-winning tip in with only 1/10 of a second remaining here last night. Meanwhile, for the Saints, the guy who had the game-winning shot with 4 seconds to go last night is Isaiah Stewart, a senior co-captain.
He did a great job last night for Siena, not only creating with the dribble, but knocking down open shots, getting to the lane. Look at him right here, goes strong to the basket. He's a big guard, close to 6'4", and here's a beautiful play right here that's set up that time by Archibald, making the game winner, the clutch 3 to finish it off, and the win gets him in the semifinals.
Jack, let's check out the keys to the game brought to you by Citizens Communications. First for Canisius.
Well, first of all, Canisius, their 3rd game in 3 days. Play through the fatigue. There's going to be moments where you don't feel like getting back defensively. Got to do it. And second of all, Siena made 13 threes last night. Got to lock in and contest shots on the perimeter.
Meanwhile, what do the Saints need to do to win here today?
No question. Better defense. You talk about the fact that you give up 93 points in 2 games against Canisius. Got to clamp down and get it done. And more important than anything else, the key last night for Siena was terrific ball movement, giving up good shots to get great ones, getting 13 threes, make the extra pass tonight, get quality shots.
The winner of this game gets Iona for the MAAC championship tomorrow night here in Buffalo. Who will survive? When we come back, the starting lineups for Canisius and Siena at the start of the ball game on the MAAC Television Network. Back at the MAAC tournament semifinals in Buffalo, New York, the hometown Canisius Golden Griffins about to take on the Siena College Saints. And before tip-off, we can show you what a great coaches league this Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference is. You've got stars from top to bottom, 1 team through 10, including Jeff Rulin, Louis Orr, many more. Let's take a look. Great basketball conferences are usually founded in great coaching. Nowhere has that been more prevalent than in the MAAC, where top coaches and great basketball have always gone hand in hand. 2 of the traditional powers in the conference, Siena and Iona, each are led by men who not only have enjoyed great success in coaching, both enjoyed storied careers as players as well. Siena head coach Louis Orr with Syracuse and the New York Knicks, and Iona's Jeff Rulin with Iona and the Washington Bullets.
I have some memories. We played against each other my junior year. We played Iona in the championship of our tournament at Syracuse, the Carrier Classic. It was a great game, and I remember Jeff and Roosevelt Bowie, center on Syracuse, had a real big-time battle, and you know, we ended up winning the game, but it went down to the wire. It was a tough battle. And then when he was with the Bullets and I was with the Knicks, we played 6 times a year. So he's always a big physical guy that set real good screens.
Winning has been a way of life for both Louis Orr and Jeff Ruland, and their personal philosophies have served as a blueprint for the success of their teams.
I don't like to lose at anything, and I started here with Tim, obviously, and we've turned that around, and the staple of this program is defense, and we've led the conference in field goal percentage defense the last 6 years. And the reason we were able to beat a great Siena team last year is because we played great defense. The team that plays the best defense will leave Buffalo with a turning appearance.
I remember when I was a player. I remember the ups and the downs. I remember the relationships I had with my coaches. I remember the things I liked, I didn't like. I remember the stresses and strains of being a player, and also I remember that players win games. It's their game, and I respect that.
Seeded first and third, respectively, entering the 2001 MAAC championship, Iona and Siena are again 2 of the favorites to represent the MAAC in this year's NCAA tournament. Today, that journey begins, and Ruland and Orr stand ready for the challenge.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, tournaments, you just want to try to be playing as well as you can going in. You got to play it one game at a time. Every team and every game is tough. In any league, you got to have talent and good people to win, people of character. And we have a team of character. They've done everything we asked them to do, and I appreciate that.
We've been more consistent this year, but obviously we shot ourselves in the foot the last 2 games at home. We had that perfect record up until then. So, like I said, when we're good, we're good. But when we're bad, we're bad. So it's kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. We don't know if the good Gales or the bad Gales are going to show up, unfortunately.
Well, Coach Ruland and his Gales have reached the MAAC Finals to be played tomorrow night. Coach Orr and his Siena Saints coming up in just a moment, trying to get there as well. When we come back, we'll have your starting lineups in the opening tap between Canisius and the Siena Saints in the second MAAC semifinal. You're watching the MAAC Television Network. This game is brought to you in part by the Pepsi-Cola Company, the joy of Pepsi. By HSBC, your world of financial services. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. Budget, get out of the ordinary with budget. And by the New York Lottery, New York Lotto. Will you be ready if it happens to you? The starting lineup brought to you by Citizens Communications. Torrey Jefferson, Toby Foster, Darren Fenn, Clive Bentic, Brian Dukes for the Golden Griffins of Canisius with a record of 19-10 to face the Saints, who are 20-10. Dwayne Archbold, Andy Cavo, Justin Miller, Scott Knapp, and the man who hit the game winner last night, Isaiah Stewart. Head coach Mike McDonald, a 1988 St. Bonaventure grad, in his 4th season as the head man with the Golden Griffins. And Louis Orr, Syracuse graduate, in his rookie season as a head coach for the Siena College Saints. He is the winningest rookie head coach in Siena College history. Well, let's see what Glenn Consor has to say. My old partner has decided to stop by the HSBC Arena in Buffalo for the semis. Glenn, how are you?
Jack, we got an interesting scenario really brewing here at the MAAC tournament. You know, no home MAAC team has ever won. That means Siena's never won at the Pepsi, and Niagara and Canisius never won up here in the Buffalo. However, we got some real enthusiastic Siena fans that are really going to try to make this a terrific game. Back to you, Jack. We got some interesting tidbits coming up.
Glenn just got off the plane from Palm Springs.
You got a tan?
I like the tan. He's got the groupies attacking him. He's big time. We know him when.
He doesn't even need the makeup now.
Jet setup, comes right off the plane.
Looking good. Justin Miller with the lefty. And the Saints are on the board first.
And how effective was Justin Miller last night? 16 points in only 16 minutes. 6 of 8 shooting against the Jazzmen's front line.
Toby Foster guarded by Andy Cabo. This is Darren Fenn and Torrey Jefferson.
And it's so important for Siena to get off for a good start in this game, because in the 2 games they played Canisius, they were outscored by 28 points in the first half. So getting out, setting the tone, and more importantly, creating the style of play that you want to play in this one.
Clive Bentic with 4 on the shot clock. Brian Dukes, the runner, no. Archibald the rebound for Siena. 1 minute in. The Saints lead the Griffs 2-0.
Good possession that time defensively for Siena. They got Canisius out of whack in terms of what they like to run in a half-court offense. Rushed them in the shot.
Miller lost it on the way up. Golden Griffins in their road blue uniforms. They're the number 7 seed in this tournament. Siena the number 3 seed after having shared the regular season title. Fenn right to the basket. Blocked from behind by Miller. Fenn traveled off of the save. A couple of Western New York big wide bodies banging. Justin Miller, a freshman from outside of Jamestown, and Darren Fenn from Tonawanda going head-to-head.
Good play that time by Miller, getting behind Fenn and getting a piece of it. It was a good pass inside by Jefferson, set him up.
Stewart misses, follows his own shot. Finds Archibald in the corner for 3. Bentic the rebound, trying to push the tempo.
Real deliberate, and they were not able last night with Niagara playing a lot of 1-3-1 with traps out front to get the power game going. It's going to be so important to pound it down and get Darren Fenn established inside, as we just said. And there's Miller picking up the foul, trying to gain position in the left post on Fenn.
Well, Darren Fenn, second team all-conference last year, first teamer. He averages nearly 15 points a game, and he will draw a lot of attention.
Niagara did a great job last night against Canisius, negating the power game, and Siena has been hurt. Give up 47% in the 2 games against Canisius and 92 points, as I mentioned earlier. So, needless to say, Canisius has had their way against Siena's defense, as Siena always does after timeouts, the 2-3 zone.
Bentic off the up fake, right to the basket. Foul against Cavo.
Pretty good position that time by Cavo. And Bentic, though, has been so active in this tournament. More importantly, assertive. And Cavo coming off, and Bentic changing speeds, getting in the lane, and Cavo coming over. And a foul with the body. Cavo had a terrific game last night, by the way. 11 points, more importantly, 3 of 3 from three-point range. Bentic on the season from the line, 71%. Last night, 2 of 3 against the Purple Eagles.
He gets 1 out of 2. The Golden Griffins are on the board. He had 26, as you say, in the game winner against Niagara. 20 in the play-in game. And Mike McDonald's been getting a lot of basketball out of his senior point guard.
They're really trying to establish Justin Miller early. Good strategy by Louis Orr. But even nicer play by Darren Fenn. Okay, go ahead. Try to establish yourself, rookie. I'm the big boy in Western New York.
Larry Lembo says, cut that stuff out. A lot of Western New York kids on the floor right now. Miller's the one for Siena, and then the Griffs always have a bunch of kids from out this way. And they've played hard against each other on a lot of occasions.
And Larry Lembo walks in and says, fellas, that's enough. You know what? That's enough.
That's enough.
All right, big man.
Inside to Miller again. Obviously, Coach Orr has said, get it into Miller. 1 second on the shot clock. Knapp the offensive rebound. Rebound Canisius, Darren Fenn.
That's a good strategy. I mean, you made 13 threes on 21 attempts against Manhattan, but in a back-to-back scenario, you're not going to have as much lift in your legs. Got to get the power game established early. And you know what, too? The power game establishes double teams and then open opportunities on corner.
There's a three-point shot. No. Bentic making Jefferson the rebound.
See, it's hard to get that look clean when the defense is pushing out on you, but when you get the shots inside, it makes a difference.
Isaiah Stewart blocked Fenn. Off a great feed from Bentic. Stewart came down and picked up the block shot. And double team to Stewart on the reverse. Tipped by Archibald. 4-1 Siena, 4 minutes in.
Gorgeous pass that time by Scott Knapp. And good recovery on the glass by Archibald.
4 minutes in, the Golden Griffins still looking for their first basket. Dukes fouled by Knapp. Miller coming over to help out. Very active start on both ends by Justin Miller. And you know what? When you're a big player and they involve you on the offense, you're more apt to be active on the defensive end. And so far, Justin Miller's done that. We have a timeout. Dwayne Archibald and the Saints on top 4-1 on the Griffs here in the semifinals on the MAAC Television Network. 4-1 Siena. There are some of Glenn Consor's good friends in town from Albany.
His groupies.
His groupies. We send it over to Glenn, hovering behind the Saints bench.
Guys, just a few thoughts. You know, you have to wonder when Canisius is going to put the pressure on. And you have to wonder what Louis Orr's philosophy is going to be defensively. Do you get the press on early this game and try to get him out early? And you have to wonder if they're going to be emotionally and physically fatigued because of that great Niagara quarterfinal game. Louis Orr in this timeout really emphasized the fact that he wants everyone to get touches. He wants the ball reversed. Good ball movement will create openings. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Glenn.
Great point. And you know what? When you have to play 3 games in a row and you play a team like Siena, they expose that more than anything else because of the style of play they have and the depth.
HSBC is proud to sponsor the HSBC Family Section. Tickets and programs for today's semifinal action provided by HSBC, your world of financial services. Well, I got the best of both worlds. I got my 2 partners on the microphone breaking it down. I hardly even need to be here. DeWitt Doss gives the Griffs their first points from the floor. 4-3, Siena on top. Isaiah Stewart guarded by Doss. Here's Knapp off the up fake. Around Bentic. The foul, and Knapp will go to the line to shoot 2.
Knapp last night, even though he shot 2 for 11 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, had 5 assists. He was real aggressive, putting the ball to the floor last night as a playmaker, and it did a nice job getting in the lane, setting the table for his teammates. And you know what? If people are going to crowd you and respect your shot, which is all right, put it to the floor and make plays for teammates, and he's very capable of doing that.
Knapp, the top free throw shooter in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
And he struggled against Canisius this year. In the 2 games, he's averaged 4 turnovers. In the game back in Albany a few weeks ago, he had 25 points, 5 of 6, and 6 of 11 from 3-point range. And he made that big, big 3. If you remember, Doug, they put it into overtime.
That was a game that I did with Brian Mahoney, and Siena was down, I believe, 21 in the second half and came back to tie it up on the Knapp 3-pointer, and then he and Andy Combo teamed up to just put the game in their hip pocket in overtime. Massarello in, Knapp out.
Norman Massarello played real well last night, making 2 threes, and just solid performance, giving the Saints a lift off the bench. A little 2-2-1 after the free throw. Louis Orr changing up.
5-3, Siena leading Canisius. Andrew Bush has come into the game for the Griffs. So has Hadari Mallory. This is Bush. Off the window from a tough angle. Nice shot for Bush.
That was from long distance. Bush, not real active last night. 18 minutes, only 1 point. He averages 10 points on the season, so he wants to get off the schneid here this afternoon.
Andy Combo swings to Archibald inside to Michael Berman. 13 to shoot. Massarello back into Berman. Backing on Bush. Berman will go to the line for 2.
Good bit of basketball there. I really like the post feed. Palmer Massarello getting inside, and Berman, the big body, carving out space, and then catching and taking his time in his move to the basket.
Michael Berman at the line for Siena, shooting 2.
Michael Berman battled knee injuries this year, a 63% foul shooter, 6'9", 235 from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Suffered the knee ligament damage back on December the 1st, had surgery 4 days later, and then missed a month of action.
Berman last night, 20 minutes, 1 point. But against Canisius, he's played well. He's averaging 8 points and 7 rebounds in 2 meetings this year, Doug.
Although 0 for 2 from the stripe, we're tied at 5. Mallory out to Benton. Open look from 20. Bush, the last to touch, it'll be Siena ball.
That was a nice pass that time by Mallory. I love it when guys put it to the deck on the baseline, draw the help along the baseline, and then throw the diagonal opposite. Defense just can't get there because they've all condensed to the baseline.
Let's send it back over to Glenn.
Jack and Doug, you know, one of the trademarks that Canisius College has had through the years, and it started with the John Beilein days. John Beilein and Mike McDonald have really gotten the most out of their players. The improvement of players like Clive Bentic and Andy Bush through the years. Andy Bush has been a guy that has dramatically improved. He lit up St. Bonaventure for 25 points this year. He's extended his range, and look at Clive Bentic now has emerged as one of the top guards in the MAAC conference. Back to you guys.
No doubt about it, Glenn.
Well put. And when you talk about the fact, guys like Bam Moore over the years,
yeah,
and just the improvement level. And you know what, too? They play that system, half court, real pattern oriented. But after a while, you get pretty comfortable playing in it, and your skill level, you can lock in on what you need to do within it. Good job with the high-low here. See Hampton going inside. Bush getting position on Berman. The previous possession, Berman did the same to him. And good movement from wing to top and down into the post.
Kick basketball by James Clinton on the inbound, so Canisius will try again. Richard Hampton is also checked in for the Golden Griffins. This is their home floor, away from home, if you will. Right now trapped on that home floor. DeWitt Doss finally gets a timeout, so the Golden Griffins will retain possession.
And that time, Siena, that's the one danger when you go against them on inbound plays, baseline. They trap when it goes down the corner, so you got to be very well aware of kicking it out quick.
The winners of the New York Lottery MAAC Scholar Athlete Award from Siena College, Carmen Massarello, and from Niagara University, Becky O'Donoghue. Massarello is a marketing major with a 3.58 grade point average from Clifton Park, New York, while O'Donoghue's a communications major with a 3.65 GPA from Dobbs Ferry, New York. The New York Lottery will provide new computers to their elementary schools, and this award is based on GPA, community participation, and good sportsmanship. The New York Lottery, supporting education since 1967, saluting Carmen Massarello and Becky O'Donoghue for their achievements.
You know, the Golden Griffins, you look at their bench right now. Remember back to '97 here in Buffalo when Fairfield, as the number 8 seed, swept through here and went to the NCAA tournament and took North Carolina to the wire in the NCAA tournament. But you know the difference? They only had to win 3 games as the 8 seed. Now with a larger league, the MAAC conference, Canisius, as the 7 seed's got to win 4 to get there.
Right, since that time, Marist and Ryder have been added to the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, so it goes from an 8-team league to a 10-team league, and so you've got the play-in. So this is Canisius's 3rd game in 3 days. Tomorrow would be 4 in 4 days.
Mike McDonald pointing out to his team, you know, St. Louis Billikens last year, Conference USA Marquette under Mike Dean a few years back. They won 4 games in a row in their tournament to get there, and he even made the point, hey, the Baltimore Ravens had to win 4 playoff games to get there.
Yes, they did.
It's actually winning.
Here's Scott Knapp, a 3-on-2 for Siena. He pulls up for 3. Dukes the rebound, quickly back the other way. Mallory. Mallory puts the Golden Griffins on top 7-5.
A little cherry picking, a little hanging. Shot goes, I'm gone.
Let's go. Get it out and run.
Stretch out the defense. Make them think twice about quick shot.
Archibald kicks to Massarello from the right wing. Siena back on top.
You know what? Adari Mallory rolled the dice that time, went for the steal on Archibald, didn't get it. Defense caught in a help mode. Clean look.
James Clinton coming over to help. Bodied up on Bush and got called for the foul.
You love it when your players are aggressive defensively, but don't be reckless in terms of your pursuit of steals and leave your defensive players in a tough position. And Mallory on the back end of that quick shot by Knapp, going the other way.
DeWitt Doss out of the game for Canisius.
Need a drink of water. Tongue-tied here.
Yeah, didn't notice.
Amazing.
Dukes, Jefferson, Mallory, Hampton, and Bush on the floor for Canisius. Prosper Karangwa, James Clinton, Knapp, Massarello, and Berman out there for the Saints in their home white uniform. Did he? Had your cool beverage?
Sparkling, Buffalo water.
Very nice. Right out of the Erie. Clinton waits for both defenders to go by and lays it in.
Good feed inside Karangwa. Clinton, I thought, showed some good play last night in the post. Even though he wasn't real productive, he was active.
Bush called for the foul. He and Berman apparently were battling inside, and before the ball even barely got into the front court, he was whistled for his second personal and number 3 against Canisius.
Clinton only with 2 points last night, but did a solid job just being active inside, laying the body to people. And when you talk about going up against Darrell Brown inside, did a solid job with the post D.
Inside Carranza to Berman.
And we talked about it in the open, making the extra pass, good ball movement. Siena on this possession, doing a good job sharing it. Side, top side, making the defense shift and rotate.
Good defense by the Griffs as it gets down to 2 to shoot. Berman short on the jumper, but he gets it back. Here's Knapp for 3. Massarello the rebound. He tried to get it to Clinton. James Clinton pulls it out.
Well, when you have long possessions, there are going to be some breakdowns defensively at some point in time. And Siena did a nice job in that whole sequence of just making the extra pass and staying patient and disciplined with what they were trying to do.
Canisius down by 3 with the basketball. 11:32 left to go in the half. Iona has already reached tomorrow night's MAAC final. We played at 7 o'clock here in Buffalo. Fenn has it knocked away by Knapp. It goes right to Hampton, diving for the ball, Massarello. Hampton saw somebody on the sideline. I think it was Lewis Orr in a dark suit. He thought that it was one of his teammates, and he threw it away.
He wished it was.
Wouldn't be a bad teammate to have.
Not a bad teammate.
Timeout here at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. Siena with the early lead on the MAAC Television Network. Siena 10, Canisius 7, early here in Buffalo. And this week's Did You Know, brought to you by Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. And, 3 teams in the preseason coaches poll were picked to finish 5th or lower, and 3 of those 4 made it to the Final Four. So does that show you what coaches know or don't know, Jack, or does that speak more to the conference just being tough to call?
No, you know what it proves is that coaches always pick their teams low.
All right, but don't they all offset each other then if they're all picking low?
I guess. They'd all be 5th, like Mike McDonald. Well, you know what? One of these 2 teams, a 5th or 7th pick, is going to end up playing for a chance to go to the NCAA tournament tomorrow night. That'll be fun.
Well, Canisius with a 19-10 record as the 17th seed. If they win this game, they'll have 20 wins. Siena's already got 20 wins, so whoever goes into that final. Iona's already there with 21 wins, so the league well represented in terms of win-losses. James Clinton from the baseline, Siena by 5.
Clinton, a very capable player, averaging 7 points on the season. Did not play in the 2 games, obviously because of the injury early on against Canisius.
Ryan Dukes to Darren Fenn. Torrey Jefferson guarded by Carranza. Jefferson, air ball. Hadari Mallory, strong football.
Mallory has been applauded by turf toe. Only played 7 minutes last night. Didn't play the final game of the season at Marist. And he is a valuable guy. He's good on the offensive boards, good defensive play. Has some playmaking ability as well.
Played only 8 minutes in the playing game against St. Peter's on Friday, so legs-wise, he should be fresh.
But you know what? He's made 2 plays already where he's tried to dribble and get steals and hasn't gotten them, and his team's been scored on.
Toby Foster with a quick release. He is the most proficient three-point shooter in the conference, and you can see why. Nice rotation.
And you make a great point with shot presentation. And he is shot ready. He gets it. Don't take long for him to get rid of it.
Backdoor alley-oop block. Clinton fouled by Foster, so Clinton heads to the line.
That time, Canisius is step slow playing that back screen on the secondary break that Siena likes to run.
That's his first personal and the 4th team foul.
Quick pass. Look at Foster. He receives, ready, fire.
That's the first field goal for a Canisius starter here this afternoon.
And Foster last night, only 5 points in 18 minutes, fouled out of the game. 1 of 4 from 3, so he wants to get it going.
Clinton has been very steady at the line, 85%.
That's impressive for a big fella, because, you know, when you play the power game, the biggest opportunity you have is using a pump fake, drawing fouls, getting to the line. If you can finish possessions by making free throws, you're going to be awfully effective.
Well, watch the hesitation. He's changed his rotation.
He's Mr. Lane violation.
Teammates hate him. But if he keeps hitting them,
well, if you play with him, you should get used to it.
That's true. It's the opposition. Bentic, called for steps. Got it caught in his hip. Larry Limbo with the whistle. 16-12 Siena. The Saints get the ball back.
You know, so far, Siena's done a solid job not only neutralizing Darren Fenn, but the perimeter people. Dukes has averaged 13 points, Bentic 15, Torrey Jefferson 12 in their 2 meetings against Siena. So not only has the power game been effective for Canisius against Siena, the perimeter people have not only played well, but outplayed Siena in a lot of instances.
Massarello floating pass to Miller, forced the reverse. Clinton kept it alive, but here comes Dukes to Bentic. Carmen Massarello draws the charge.
Well, Carmen Massarello's made like 4 plays already today. Made a beautiful pass in the lane where he led his teammate. Good post move, post feed. And that time, sprinting back, doing the little things. He has been a solid contributor. Think about the fact he's a 5th-year senior, was a big-time scorer at New Hampshire before he transferred to Siena. How's that to bring off the bench?
And you know what? We're going to honor him at halftime. We're going to have his folks on the floor as our scholar athlete.
I was getting on his case before I told him I was busting his chops on the air last night. I coached him a few summers ago in Greece, and Mr. All Academic in the MAAC.
Not bad at all.
I said I couldn't keep up with you with those conversations. Mr. Cerebral.
That jumper by Scott Knapp just a 2. It's a 6-point Siena lead. Dukes blocked by Miller, who stood his ground. We saw Nakia Miller in our first semifinal on a number of occasions hold his ground without leaving his feet and getting block shots, and Justin Miller does the exact same thing here.
Look at Knapp taking the ball directly at Dukes, challenging him. And it's such an important component when you have a lead guard that can make plays with teammates to be able to guard your own position.
Mr. Consor standing by. Glenn, what have you got?
You know, first of all, James Clinton comes off the bench, guys, and really poses some interesting matchup problems for Canisius because he's a 6'9" player that can shoot the basketball. He extends the defense out, and all of a sudden, guys, the little guys can get rebounds for Siena. A real tough and interesting matchup problem for Canisius. From Canisius' standpoint, they're going to have to do a better job freeing themselves and moving to open spots versus the very tough Siena defense. They're trapping, guys. Take it away.
Thank you, Glenn. And that move by Prosper Karangwa shows you yet another matchup problem if you're Canisius on defense.
No question, as well as the fact that Canisius is like they have the hangover effect.
Yes.
We talk about having a little more pep in his step. Siena has it. Even though they played the West Coast game last night, got back to their hotel rooms, got to bed after 1 a.m.
Yeah, Isaiah Stewart's game-winning jumper didn't come until after midnight this morning. Darren Fenn, quick move, and the nice release.
And of course, you got to go back to your room, have the customary few slices of pizza,
That's
hang
right.
out, watch ESPN.
See if you get on the
Exactly,
highlights.
the highlights, and then you hit the set.
Knapp to Karangwa on the post with the jump hook. The man they called Half a Penny coming out of high school in Montreal, showing his variety of moves. Justin Miller called for the foul. And we've got a timeout, 7:19 remaining here in the first half. Siena leads 22-14 despite the efforts of Darren Fenn. You're watching the MAAC Television Network.
Marist College prepares students to compete in the .com world, educating the mind as well as educating the heart. Marist is committed to helping students develop the strong values to serve them well beyond their college years. Marist is a member of the Templeton Honor Roll, a select group of 100 colleges and universities nationwide, recognized for their commitment to inspire students to lead ethical and civic-minded lives. Marist College, proud of its heritage, preparing tomorrow's leaders.
Siena leading Canisius by 8 in the second of our MAAC semifinals at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. And fans, Disney's Wide World of Sports has joined forces with the MAAC to create a great experience and opportunity for MAAC athletes. We'll talk about that some other time. In the meantime, we've got hockey to talk about. Maybe Mickey will show up at the hockey championship.
Right, hey.
Who knows? At UConn, a couple of weekends from now.
It's a little hockey. The Sabres.
I think there are two things and two things only that the people in Buffalo care about.
The Bills.
The Bills and the Sabres.
And, of course, chicken wings.
Okay, 3. I'll give you 3.
My math is bad.
We are in the home of the Sabres. They're on the road this weekend, playing this afternoon as we speak. They played earlier this weekend in Philadelphia.
They won yesterday against Colorado in overtime. They're playing the Dallas Stars.
You know your stuff.
Of course, it's how I go to my right, go to my left, knock down a jumper, post jump.
You go to Sabres games?
Season ticket holder.
Nice. Nice.
I'm never home now. I'm always traveling. My kids love it though.
Give them away. Everybody's best friend. Toby Foster misses. Berman the rebound. J.J. Harvey is checked into the game for the Saints. Siena has won 12 of its last 15 games with a 20-10 record, trying to make it back to the MAAC Finals for what would be the 4th straight year. Here's Cavo. Dukes the rebound. He's on the fly. Count the basket in 1.
Nice job by Dukes. The thing I love about Dukes is he changes his speeds so well in the open court. Lets up and then bursts a little hard. Look at him here. Slows up a little and then bang, goes a little bit harder and takes it right at the defense. Lines his shot up beautifully. Kind of from a weird angle there, putting it in.
He is very versatile off the bounce with finger rolls, left hand, right hand. He's got a variety of different releases.
Crafty, old school. We gotta get a shot of his socks, by the way.
Very old school.
Oh, I love it. We got
1974.
Wait till we get a shot of his socks. I absolutely love it.
Harvey has it stripped away by DeWitt Doss. And the finger roll. What a great move by DeWitt Doss.
Quick trigger.
Back to a 3-point game. Off of that last time out, a very quick 5-point turnaround.
DeWitt Doss has played good basketball for the Griffs of late. The freshman coming on out of LaSalle High School in Niagara Falls. Going right by the defender that time, Harvey.
All right, let's send it back over to Glenn Consor.
Hey, guys, the last 2 times down the floor, Siena very careless with the basketball. One thing Louis Orr emphasized to his Siena Saint team is to try to get the ball into Scott Knapp's hands in the transition game more. He needs more touches in order for Siena to be an effective team offensively. On the defensive standpoint, you guys are absolutely right. Dukes is deceptively quick off the bounce. You know, some guys look quick and some guys don't look quick. Remember Carl Lewis? Carl Lewis would walk into a track meet. He just looked quick. Dukes doesn't look quick. He's got a very quick first step.
And Glenn, when you're wearing socks like Dukes is, how can you look quick?
I love it.
I have Dukes' socks on under my suit right now.
I love those socks, though. I mean, I used to wear those when I used to wear, like, Wallbaum's wall climber sneakers, you know, or my Puma Clydes.
Puma Clyde.
Remember those when I was a little kid? I used to have the red, white, and blue socks, the green, white, and gold.
You're the big ABA fan.
Oh, I love the ABA. Those socks got to come back. Brian Dukes, a trendsetter.
Dwayne Archibald gets the roll.
Forget Brian Dukes. We got to get a shot of Glenn's socks.
I don't think he's telling us the truth. I don't think
from Palm Springs. He's probably got moccasins on.
Dari Mallory. So much for the turf toe. We should all be hobbled.
That's right. That's what I said last night. I bet Vince Carter would jump a knee.
Yeah. That's 6 points for the Buffalo native out of McKinley High School.
I gotta get myself some turf toe. Being elevated like this. Don't you dare. Good shot by Toby Foster. Look at him get on the glass, elevate right over Harvey. Take that. Got the headband going. Talking a little junk.
And Isaiah Stewart, the senior co-captain point guard, has come back in, replacing Harvey, the freshman. Mallory, a 3-point play. He averages 7 a game. He's got 7 already. 24-22, Siena's lead trimmed to 2. Just over 5.5 minutes to go here in the first half. From the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. Scott Knapp from 23. He has been off this tournament. Long pass ahead, Bush. Pass back out. No call as Berman took the charge, and Michael Berman slow to get up again. He's got that bad knee.
Last time he these two teams played. Berman took 7 charges against Canisius.
Berman is too hurt to have jumped for that ball.
He needs to come out of the game here.
Even at his best right now, he can barely run, let alone jump. And so that pass a little bit high. He couldn't get to it and thought perhaps there was somebody behind him that it was intended for.
Big collision on the baseline there.
Bush, Doss, Foster, Mallory, and Jefferson out there for the Golden Griffins in their blue uniforms. Bush the turnaround on the baseline. There's the Andrew Bush we saw throughout the season.
Andrew Bush averaging 11 points and 2 rebounds in the 2 matchups against the Saints. They need him to get off the schneid because last night ineffective against Niagara, only 1 point. They need that double whammy up front, him and Fenn.
We're tied at 24, and the crowd here in Buffalo chanting defense for their hometown Golden Griffins. Stewart, tough pass, trying to get it in to James Clinton. Mallory, blocked by Stewart. Second time Stewart in transition. He's come up with a big block shot today.
Great hustle. He makes up for the miscue with the post feed. Tough angle to feed the post at. He says, I'm going to not only do that, but try to knock down a 3.
Canisius with the ball, 4 minutes to go in the half.
It's a little bit sloppy, and you know what, too? They got to tighten up their shot selection a tad bit.
Here's Mallory. Mallory.
Oh, he has got the mojo going right now. He's feeling it. 39% on the season. And Hodari Mallory, you know what? He hasn't played a whole lot of late. You made the point earlier. Fatigue could be a factor. He needs some fresh legs. He's got them.
10 points for Hodari Mallory. Mr. Turf Toe feeling pretty good, and he's given his Golden Griffins a 27-24 lead. We send it back over to Glenn. I guess we've lost Glenn, probably in the middle of the huddle somewhere. There's Glenn.
This is a good pass at times. Siena a little bit slow in their reaction from a standpoint of transition D. Look at the shooting from 3-point range. Efficient, 2 of 4 for Canisius.
All right, now we go over to Glenn.
Hey, guys, sorry. One of the things that Siena's going to have to do is get the guards involved, offensively and defensively. Archibald, Isaiah Stewart, and Scott Knapp are going to have to be aggressive, proactive, getting in the lane, pushing the ball up the floor. We've seen it through the years. Siena plays its best basketball in the transition game. We haven't seen them make any defensive plays to get the ball back on offense, and we haven't seen any shots like that. See, Archibald's going to make that shot. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Glenn. And during that last timeout, Jack, I was thinking Archibald's not been involved, but that's not the way you necessarily want to involve him. You want to get him down to the post.
Not only that, I think they have to do a better job. Look at Mallory. Talk about a unsung hero.
Where's Vince Carter today? This could be Vince wearing a Canisius uniform.
Exactly. He's in Toronto today.
Not far away. Could have snuck down.
I took the day off to be here with you. They were up 12 points with 8 minutes left.
Man.
Against the Knicks.
30-24 Canisius, 2:45 to go. The Griffs have run right past the Saints here in the late part of the first half.
And Glenn made a good point. You know, Siena not only talking about getting the guards involved, but a lot of times they've been settling for the jump shot. You know, and I think when you're on the road, particularly after shooting 13 for 21 the night before, maybe I'm superstitious, but you know what? Sometimes your luck's going to run out. You live by it, you die by it. And as good as they are with it, they're trying to force it a little too much. Get the dribble going, get the penetration, draw some help, then set up the opportunities on draw and kick scenarios to get clean looks, rather than trying to take it when there's a hand in your face.
James Clinton, 3 for 3 at the line so far here this afternoon. He has 9 points, junior from Pleasantville, New Jersey.
Led made a great point as well about the fact that your defense is the key. If you're going to get into transition, you got to start making some plays Early on, Siena was the aggressor. It looked like they, as I mentioned earlier, had the pep in the step. Now Canisius has found their wind.
Clinton has 10, but Hodari Mallory's got 13. He is leading the Golden Griffins. We've got a 4-point lead. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this. .241 left to go here in the first half. Canisius with a 4-point lead over Siena. And you know, the 2000-2001 Chase MAAC Players of the Week, always fun to keep track of. Great debate every week, who should win it, who shouldn't. Here's a retrospective of the winners throughout the season. Darren Fenn, Andrew Bush from Canisius, Scott Knapp, Dwayne Archbold from Siena. But the Player of the Year, brought to you by Pepsi, was none other than Demond Stewart from Niagara. 20 points, nearly 8 rebounds a game. One of the most fiery competitors in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, willing himself to being one of the best in the league, and this year named the best in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, brought to you by Pepsi.
Speaking of Stewart, how about Isaiah Stewart? He was just fabulous last night. 17 points, 6 assists, only 1 turnover. He has really matured as a player from freshman year to senior year. A tremendous lead on for the Saints.
Bush short on the jumper. Hampton gets the rebound.
Siena trying to get their defense to create some offensive opportunities. Springing the press after the timeout. The Griffs doing a solid job advancing.
James Clinton picks up the personal, his second. And number 9 against Siena. Canisius has committed 7 here in the first half.
You know, you play Siena, expect to get fouled. I mean, that's the type of style that they played. Even more frantic, though, when Paul Hewitt was there. I mean, they were pressing and trapping for 40 minutes. This team, not as much, but needless to say, they are aggressive.
Fenn called for the offensive foul. Siena will get it back. Let's send it over to Mr. Consor.
Guys, interesting tidbit. In the 85 minutes that these two teams have played, Canisius has been the better team 70 of those minutes. And one of the things that Canisius has done so well is play the transition defensive game so well. In that last timeout, Lewis Orr emphasized to his team that we got to be the aggressor, we got to get stops, and he wants all 5 guys to run down the floor, including James Clinton, to get some easy baskets. They want to play up-tempo, Doug.
Not surprising for the Siena Saints, Glenn, as Jack was just talking about as well, especially the last 3 years, high-octane. Lewis Orr has tightened it up just a little bit, but they still love to run.
But, you know, everybody talks about wanting to run. It's a big difference. Making the commitment to run is what it is, and this team has done just that. But when you run efficiently, it comes down to the fact is how well you guard. Because the more shots you force that are missed and you control defensive glass, as well as turnovers you force, that fuels opportunities in the open court. You don't do that, you're stuck playing 5-on-5 half court.
Canisius with the basketball, a 3-point lead. Pass stolen by Archbold. Doss was looking for somebody to cut.
His teammate zigged instead of zagged.
Carranza denied inside. Siena retains possession with 2 minutes to go here in the first half. That would have tied the game. Fenn, though, the rebound. Canisius offensively, Jack, very efficient, over 50% from the floor this half. 3 for 5 on 3-pointers.
This is their style. They run their 2-on-2 set. Fenn coming out to the high post. They love backdoor. There it is.
Jefferson knocked away. Doss left alone for 3. It's a 6-point Canisius lead.
I've defended, I've coached against that offense since John Beeline was at Canisius. I could run that offense in my sleep.
Clinton posting on Fenn. Over the double team.
That was sweet. That good position. And a nice touch.
13 points already for James Clinton. He and Hodari Mallory share game-high honors. Deflected out of bounds off of Siena.
We talked about the establishment of the power game, not only from the standpoint of offensively being able to score in there, more importantly, defensive standpoint, and Clinton doing it on both ends. Look at the positioning, nice post feed inside, and too easy. I don't know if Fenn thought he was going to have to work that hard today defensively against Siena. They're not known for that, but Miller and Clinton causing some headaches.
Long rebound, Mallory, Archbold. Wayne Archbold gets it.
So Siena getting a lot of points from the unlikely area. Normally it's perimeter, high octane, knocking down deep shots, dribble penetration, transition.
Between their big trio around the perimeter, Archbold fouled, he'll get 2. Stewart scoreless, Knapp has 3, and Archbold just 4.
Big difference. So if you're Louis Orr, you got to be thrilled you're stuck 4. You shoot 13 for 21 from 3. You're living right. But you know what? They did a great job last night with their ball movement. Today, not as good. Canisius, in spite of the fact it's their 3rd game in 3 days, pretty good job with their foot movement, getting to people, not allowing a lot of clean lanes and clean looks. But the power game has bailed the Saints out. In a good position here, I think.
Archbold now with 5 points, Jack. He had 14 in yesterday's game against Manhattan.
You know what's impressive about Archbold, and he's 13th in the MAAC with 6 rebounds per game. He had 9 rebounds last night in their win, and he's done well against Canisius. 18 points, 5 rebounds, and he's been to the line 8 times in each contest. So he has been a problem for the Griffs.
After the 2 made free throws, Clive Bentic comes in. Hodari Mallory goes out with his 13 points, 5 for 7 from the floor for Hodari Mallory.
2-second differential, shot clock game, clock 2-2-1 pressure.
Dukes keeps his dribble, gets away from the double team. Nice job. Finn inside, missed the layup. Austin Andrews knocked it out, so now Canisius can hold for a final shot, leading by 2.
Good job by Austin Andrews, though, inside, just altering the shot a slight bit.
You see the time remaining in the first half. Brian Dukes bumped by Dwayne Archbold before the shot, and so that's the 10th team foul against Siena, and Dukes will get 2 free throws.
Dukes an 80% free throw shooter on the season. 6th in the MAAC, 4 of 6 last night.
Not bad at all.
It's Mike McDonald. I always love checking out Mike's ties. Quite the dresser.
Do you know what the lapel pin is, the number 3?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, actually the coach's first cancer.
Oh, okay.
3-point shooting. Well, maybe he was trying to tell his team to defend the 3 today. And make some as well. Speaking of 3,
Scott Knapp back in,
shooter.
With 5.2 seconds to go in the half. Louis Orr wanted to get his top shooter in there.
He's been more playmaker the last 2 days than 3-point shooter, though.
Speaking of hot hands, Hodari Mallory and his 13 points comes in to defend Scott Knapp.
Dukes with 2 fouls, getting them out at the end of the half. Don't want to get the 3rd one.
Here's Isaiah Stewart. Saints down 4 with 1 second to go. Stewart hits at the buzzer. Count the basket.
Didn't contain.
Down by 2, the Saints head to the locker room. We are at the half. Louis Orr and his Saints trailing by 2 thanks to the jumper by Stewart. You're watching the MAAC Television Network.
I assumed that college would be a long series of lectures, tests, and papers. That was until I went to Niagara University. I put my logistics major to work as an intern at Praxis. I was so well prepared that after a short time, I was offered a promotion in a full-time position when I graduated.
At Niagara, learning inside and outside the classroom are both important. We encourage students to have active learning experiences in research, internships, co-ops, and study abroad.
Niagara University. Make your education an experience.
Welcome back, everybody. At the half, Canisius leading Siena 35-33 in our second semifinal. The winner of this one gets Iona tomorrow in the championship game for the right to go to the NCAA tournament. Welcome back, everybody. Doug Sherman along with Jack Armstrong, the coach. And that first half, who do you give the favor to?
Well, I think Canisius, because they responded well early on to Siena's push. And even though the tempo is in the favor of Siena right now, up and down, I think Canisius has handled it beautifully. Real good first half, though.
Let's check the scores from around the rest of the tournament here in Buffalo. Brought to you by Citizens Communications, and you can see how we've gotten to this point where Iona has survived and made it into the championship game. Canisius, off of 2 wins and leading here in the semifinals, clearly would have to be labeled as the surprise, although in the regular season standings they finished only 1 game off the lead in the conference, so not really that big of a surprise. There's the Iona semifinal win, and again, the championship game here in Buffalo tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Take a quick look at the brackets, and you see the Gales are waiting for the winner of this one between the Golden Griffins and the Saints from Siena. TV schedule for the rest of the tournament. We've got the Women's Championship coming up tonight at 7 o'clock between Siena and Fairfield. The winner goes to the NCAA Big Dance. The loser might as well as an at-large team, while tomorrow night's championship game on ESPN. We'll take a break, and when we come back, more halftime festivities from the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. Canisius leading by 2 on the MAAC Television Network. This game is brought to you in part by the New York Lottery. New York Lotto, will you be ready if it happens to you? By Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. Budget, get out of the ordinary with Budget. And by Chase Manhattan Bank, the right relationship is everything. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here today and this weekend for the MAAC basketball tournament. I am Doug Sherman, the voice of the MAAC, and along with MAAC Commissioner Richard Enser behind me and Mike Finnerty of New York Lottery, we are here to recognize the 2001 New York Lottery Scholar Athlete Award winners. The award is based upon grade point average, community service, and good sportsmanship. First, from Siena College, Carmen Massarello is a senior marketing major with a 3.58 GPA from Clifton Park, New York. Accepting on behalf of Carmen is Siena Athletic Director John Dargenio and his family with Commissioner Enser. And from Niagara University, Becky O'Donohue. Becky is a junior communications major from Dobbs Ferry, New York, with a 3.65 grade point average. Accepting the award, Becky O'Donohue, along with Niagara University Director of Athletics, Mike Herman. Both of their schools, their elementary schools, will receive 2 computers on behalf of both of our award winners. Congratulations to Carmen and to Becky. How about a nice round of applause for both of our Scholar Athlete Award winners. We'll take a break and come back with more of our halftime show between Siena and Canisius on the MAAC Television Network. Back at the half, Canisius leading Siena 35-33 in our second semifinal here at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo, along with Jack Armstrong. This is Doug Sherman, and it's time for our first half highlights. And the Golden Griffins seated lower than the Saints, but not playing like it, giving them everything they can.
James knocking down the open shot on the baseline. He's been real effective off the bench for the Saints. Still with the penetration. Knapp setting the table for his jump shot off the bounce. And then Brian Dukes, one of the catalysts in the backcourt for the Golden Griffins, changing speeds, getting to the rack on Cabo. And, of course, DeWitt Doss getting to the rack off the steal. And then look at this beautiful pass by Jefferson across the lane. And Hadari Mallory off the bench making some big shots.
The quick release, Mallory with 13 points in the first half. We check our halftime stats brought to you by Citizens Communications.
Well, pretty evenly played game so far. The difference is purely been right now the fact that Canisius turned it over a little bit more. Siena with more shot opportunities, but more importantly than anything else, 1 of 10. Siena last night, 13 of 21. They only make 1 in the first half. That's the difference.
Huge difference. Let's send it over to Glenn Consor standing by.
Thanks, guys. We're here with assistant coach of Iona, Craig Holcomb, one of the top young assistant coaches, I think, in the country. And, Craig, a tough game against Marist. That's a very good Marist team. You guys had some great productivity from some key reserves.
Yeah, we did. We had a freshman and 2 sophomores step up. Greg Jenkins, Courtney Fields, and Macia Wolford helped us win the game today. And without them, I don't know, it'd be tough. We might still be playing.
Now, does it really matter who you play in this game coming up in the finals?
Not at all. Both teams have beaten us. We've had, a couple of great games with these teams. The only advantage we'd have is if, Canisius would have to play that extra game. It'd be their 4th game tomorrow.
Now, we tried to get Jeff Rulin on for this interview, and obviously, no slight to you. The rumor has it that Jeff Rulin right now is sitting in a gigantic whirlpool because his blood pressure is so high. They're trying to bring it down, the pressure down. Is that true?
No, he's really introverted, so, he's hard to get
right.
words out of.
Right. What do you think about the way the tournament has progressed at this point? Any surprises with Canisius going as far as they have?
Not at all. Actually, when the way it broke down, I had Canisius going to the final game, believe it or not. So.
Now, you told me a little story about your head coaching as in the junior college days, how tough it is to play 4 games in a row, which is what Canisius is going to have to do if they knock off Siena here in the semis.
Right. That happened to us a few years ago, and in the second half of the 4th game, we just fell apart. I'm not saying that's going to happen to them or anything like that, but that happened to us, and it's a tough way to play.
Craig, how important is fatigue? Obviously winning 4 games in a row, playing 4 games in a row,
right.
and 4 days in a row. How important is it going to be for you guys if you do play Canisius in the finals, just to jump on them early?
Right. It's emotional as much as anything, and mental. Very, very important that we get up on them early and try to take them out of the game.
Well, Craig, thanks for spending some time with us, and best of luck in the final game. Great job. All right, let's go back to our partners, Doug and Jack.
All right, thank you, Glenn, and thank you, Craig, for stopping by. He and the
poor
Gales.
hot tub.
Wow.
That's a big hot tub.
Coach Holcomb was not terribly comfortable talking about some of those things. All right, we'll take a break and come back. We've got a good one. 2-point Canisius lead over Dwayne Archbold and the Saints. We're getting close to the start of the second half on the MAAC Television Network. Back in Buffalo as we get set to start the second half between Siena and Canisius. And no doubt about it, the 2 leading scorers in this game, Hodari Mallory and James Clinton, each have 13 points, and both have been very efficient on the offensive end. 5 for 7 from the floor for Canisius for Mallory, 4 for 4 for Clinton for Siena.
Not only that, the bench scoring, a huge component of this game. Look at Clinton working inside here, getting great position on Fenn, going strong. He's been so effective, not only getting in position inside, but getting to the free throw line and taking care of business. And there's Mallory right there. How about the bench scoring? 24 of the 35 points for the Canisius from their bench. 20 of the 33 points for Siena from their bench. So depth. I beat you to it, graphics, man.
There it is. Meanwhile, DeWitt Doss, another big part of it. You see Toby Foster here missing.
There's Hodari Mallory.
He's scoring in all different ways. 3-pointers, offensive rebounds, layups. He's doing it all so far. But DeWitt Doss is another one. Came in with a real spark. 3 for 4 shooting, 7 points. Let's go over to Glenn.
It's going to be so important for Canisius in the second half to really get back and stop James Clinton, who caused a whole bunch of problems. Being that we got Jack in town, Doug, all of a sudden, Hodari Mallory turns into Vince Carter. I don't understand it. Does Jack have anything to do with that? Rumors have it Jack was coaching him before this game.
No. He'd be posted up. You know how I was when I coached, Glenn. Everything was inside.
All right, we're set for the start of the second half. Hodari Mallory will be coming off the bench once again, as will James Clinton, the 2 leading scorers in this afternoon's MAAC semifinal. Toby Foster, Darren Fenn, Brian Dukes, Torrey Jefferson, and Clive Bentic. That's Jefferson off the mark. Fenn takes the rebound away from Miller at a jump ball between Stewart and Fenn.
I think Glenn's a little upset at you because instead of comparing Hodari Mallory to Vince, I think he felt it was appropriate. The former star of the BU Terriers, Glenn Consor.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
You know what they used to call him, his nickname when he played professional basketball over in Israel? Magic.
Magic?
Magic Consor. Where's Magic? He's going to kill me later. Miller fouled by Fenn, so Justin Miller starting the second half like he did the first half.
Canisius foul number 24, Darren Fenn.
Justin Miller off a very good first half. Freshman from Lakewood, New York, outside of Jamestown. 8 points, 4 rebounds a game he's averaging. He had 16 against Manhattan yesterday. And 6 points, 4 rebounds so far in this one.
You know, he's been real quiet so far. Cavo, no points, no rebounds. Last night, 11 points, so big difference.
Miller 1 out of 2.
A little 2-2-1 pressure now by Siena. And, you know, Niagara, I thought, did a nice job changing up, going a little 1-3-1, 2-2-1 last night, and it really shook Canisius up. Took them out of their power game. When you allow them to come down and get into their half-court offense, they are so effective, just like that.
Matt called for the foul, blocking Dukes from behind.
I mean, that was a token, and I mean token 2-2-1. I mean, they really didn't even give a whole lot of resistance defensively. And look at him get inside here. Torrey Jefferson going strong to the basket. They got into their high 2-1-2 offense. Quick pass to Jefferson, and then Jefferson with a penetration to Dukes.
Sophomore from Orchard Park. Mike McDonald in his 4th season as the head coach. Last year, Canisius went 10-20. This year,
that's right, second biggest turnaround in school history.
If they win this one, they would be 20-10.
Go figure. We talked about last night, Boston College. I mean, think about the turnaround they had, going from last to first in the Big East. The Griffs, a magical season as well.
Fenn has it knocked out of bounds. He and Miller were battling for it, and it'll be Siena basketball.
David Shea telling the players, cool it. They're getting a little testy inside.
Archbold off the inbound. Fenn the rebound. 36-34 Canisius. Clive Bentic. He drew the foul and will shoot 2. Personal foul against Isaiah Stewart.
Nice job that time. You know what he did? And Stewart's been so effective today with 2 block shots. He took the ball right at him and challenged him and didn't allow him to get his arms extended. Watch him go directly at Stewart. He's going to invite the contact here. He takes it right into his body. Got to be a foul.
Clive Bentic gets the first.
Because when you try being cute, you give space to the guy to block the shot. And you know what? Bentic giving up about 3 inches, and more importantly, wingspan. Stewart with those long arms.
Clive Bentic, who had 26 last night against Niagara, has just 3 free throws so far here today. Now, if you're talking about good signs for Canisius, they're up by 4, and their leading scorer has only 3 points. Miller, nice pass. Cavo, the lefty reverse.
And you know what? Not only was the pass gorgeous, but the movement without the ball by Cavo. Timing and a cut. Oh, so nice. That is team basketball par excellence. Scoring off the pass. I love it.
Dukes, shot clock at 10. Fenn from 18.
Dukes and Bentic turn shots down that time. That's the beauty of this Canisius team. And then they set the table for Fenn. You know, Fenn needs some touches, get his motor going a little bit. You said he's been quiet, and you're right. Dukes taking care of him.
Siena down 4 with the ball. Archbold, quick pass inside. Justin Miller for 2.
Spacing that time in the Siena offense. Last 2 sequences, they've really cleared out the backside help. Got the post position. Quick catch. No help on the backside. Took it easy.
Torrey Jefferson. Watched by Archbold. 15 to shoot for the Golden Griffins. Fenn again on the pop-out. Gets the roll, make it 2 for 2.
They get a guy going. Now Fenn hunting down his shot a little bit. You know what? He's a guy that they can get on his back. He's been so effective in his 4-year career at Canisius.
Back to a 4-point lead. Knapp saved his dribble. Isaiah Stewart missed the layup. Fenn the rebound. 42-38 Canisius with the lead and the basketball. Torrey Jefferson from the corner. Cavo the rebound. Siena with a record of 20-10. Bentic steals the long pass away from Knapp. Here come the Griffs looking for their 20th win here today. Toby Foster left alone.
Killer shot. Good timeout right here by Siena. Do not allow this game to get away from you. And right away, Louis Orr going to Justin Miller. You have to get back in transition, communicate. Nobody picking up Foster. You can't run back to the lane when you're guarding a guy like Foster. You got to run to him.
Off of the Scott Knapp pass, ill-advised. Clive Bentic right there, and it triggers 3 points down at the other end.
Cardinal rule, don't throw a pass to a retreating, trying to throw a pass over a retreating defense. Look at Miller. He goes into the lane. Uh-oh, I forgot about him. See you later. That's what Miller did that time. He came down into the lane to help out, thinking Bentic was going to penetrate on the right side. Good team concept defensively, but oh my goodness, I just left Justin Miller open.
Toby Foster, Mr. 45% right there. And he's got a beautiful stroke. You give him that time, he's going to knock it down more often than not.
We've done 6 games. My brain's like mush right now.
Indeed. We're getting there. Another 16:29 to go.
Glenn's laughing at me because he's done this a few years.
So, Glenn, while our minds are mush, you're fresh coming in from California. How's it feel for once?
Well, you know what? Speaking of fatigue, I really thought that Canisius was going to have some fatigue, but they've really turned it around. Look at the level of intensity that Canisius is playing. Sometimes, you know, guys, you get a second win. I'm getting mine now. Right now, Canisius is getting theirs as well. 2 things are jumping out at me right now. Defense, from a defensive standpoint, Bentic is doing a great job defensively on Isaiah Stewart, and Dukes is doing a fabulous job defensively on Knapp. The guards right now from Canisius are really shutting down Siena's guards. No proactivity, no penetration off the dribble from Siena. They really need those guys to get in the lane in order for Siena to be effective. Take it away, guys.
You're right, Glenn, and the numbers certainly bear it out. Knapp has only 1 field goal. Stewart has none. Cavo only 1. So the points are not there. There's Cavo sitting down.
And we talked about earlier the productivity of the perimeter players as well as the post players in the 2 meetings before this one. And the defensive quality has been there throughout this 3-game series with these 2 teams. Dukes, Bentic, Mallory, Jefferson, all getting it done. Doss on the perimeter.
Clinton for 3.
I mean, did you think Clinton was going to be making 3s and keeping Siena in this?
On the year, 1 for 3 on 3-pointers. He shot that like he was Toby Foster. 16 now for Clinton, and there's the rebound. He was their starter at the beginning of the year. Miller was on the bench, but because of the stress fracture in his foot, Clinton now coming off the bench, but his minutes keep piling up. Siena turns it over. Tough pass to handle from Stewart to Miller. And we have a timeout. The Canisius Golden Griffins with a 3-point lead, 46-43, with 15:21 left to go here in the second half on the MAAC Television Network. That's the Golden Griffins pep band here at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. They're Canisius Golden Griffins on top by 3. And a year from now, we won't be here in Buffalo. We'll be in Albany if they've dug out from the snow by then. 2002 HSBC MAAC tournament returns to the Capital District February 28th through March the 4th of 2002. For ticket information, call 518-487-2000. And to find out more about MAAC basketball this year and in the coming weeks and months, go online and check out the conference website at maacsports.com, MAAC sports.com. It's updated regularly and provides current information about your favorite MAAC teams, players, and announcers.
Oh, really?
There's some stuff on there.
Oh, I'm impressed.
They got it all.
The Glenn Console bio?
Yes, I believe there's
Magic.
something.
Full court pressure here by Siena.
With Doss.
Good decision, pull it out. Execute your half-court O. Siena decided to go a little man-to-man D after the timeout. They normally like to go to that 2-3 zone. Change up.
Massarello gives up the foul. Fenn had great position.
You know, when you play Siena, you almost have to have 2 sequences ready to go. I mean, after a dead ball situation, you got to have your zone offensive alignment set and your man offensive alignment. Look at Clinton. What a day. Career high. Then we could be a part of it.
Well, he missed 14 games this season with a stress fracture, and it's good to see that he's back and healthy.
You know, I'm big on what takes place after the timeout, that first play offensively, the type of shot you get. And Mike McDonald, year in, year out, has improved in terms of the deployment of his troops, getting quality opportunities right there against pressure. They come down, they settle, they run their play, they go right inside, 3 feet from the basket, high percentage opportunity.
Lob inside, Justin Miller, nice catch and lay-in.
Jack made a real good point, Doug. After that timeout, Mike McDonald totally prepared his team to expect full court pressure. Jack, you were right on. Get the ball in the middle of the floor, attack the pressure. And what they're doing right now is trying to get the ball inside to Fenn. After that timeout, guys, Mike McDonald and Lewis Orr, two guys that really can control, and they have a great way with their players. You know, one of the things that I always think about is who would I like to play for? 3 guys, Mike McDonald, Lewis Orr, and Jack Armstrong.
Oh. How about that, Coach? Would you have gotten him the shots?
After him saying that, of course I would. To run screeners, pick and roll, whatever he wants.
14 minutes to go here in the second. Archbold fouled by Andrew Bush, who raises his left hand. 49-45 Canisius as we take another look at the Archbold drive.
Archbold, and he does such a good job, as we mentioned in this series this year. He's gotten to the line coming into this game 15 times, so he can wreak havoc when he puts it to the deck. As I mentioned earlier, 18 points and 5 rebounds in the previous 2 meetings on average.
Here is Archbold, 6'6", 190-pound junior.
He's already been to the line 6 times today.
He was on the All-MAAC rookie team last year. He made the second-team All-Conference squad this year.
4 of 6 today, 8 of 12 last night.
14 last night. His biggest game this year, 27 points against Texas Christian out in Hawaii. He was 9 for 10 from the floor.
You know what I like about him, too? He's so versatile. He's got a positive assist-to-turnover ratio. He's had 6 20-point games this season. He's the leader in terms of getting to the free throw line for this ball club. He can beat you inside, beat you outside.
He's into double figures now with 10. Back to a 2-point game.
Change up here now, a little 1-2-2 pressure. 1-2-2-1, now a little bit more aggressive in their pursuit. Back to man-to-man.
Doss with the basketball out there with Dukes, Fenn, Mallory, and Bush.
I give really all credit because you see Niagara last night. I thought they were effective in that type of alignment. But Canisius doing a much better job today on the back end.
Massarello clears the rebound. The Saints down 2 with the ball. Knapp gets the pick right to the hole. Bounce past Berman. There's Mallory stripping it away. Lightning quick, the hands of Hadari Mallory on that sequence. Here's Bush. Left alone, so he puts it up, and he hits. Canisius back up by 4.
What I like about what Bush did that time, he took his time, put it to the floor, 1 bounce, and got in rhythm. That bounce got him in rhythm that time for the shot.
51-47 Canisius, yes.
By Dukes. I like Massarello. You know what he does? He's a blend guy. He makes that next swing in the offense, not looking for his own all that much. Coaches.
Archbold and Mallory.
Look at Dukes. Look at the quick skip pass. And now Bush doesn't rush. I'm open. Uses the bounce. Gets his legs underneath him. More in rhythm. Intelligent play by the redshirt junior.
6'8" out of Smethport, Pennsylvania. There's Clive Bentic back in. Still without a field goal here this afternoon.
Went to Archbishop Walsh High School and only in New York, the home of St. Bonaventure. Bonnie's with a big win yesterday against UMass.
Massarello short on the jumper. Clinton over the back foul. He climbed up the backside of Darren Fenn. That's the 5th team foul against Siena here in the half.
Siena fouls for 33,
Number 3 on Clinton.
Remember last night with about 10 minutes left, Manhattan, Siena, we were in the bonus, and we're heading that way again. 1-2-2, once again. Let's make Canisius probe and attack in their pressure.
And in that instance, it worked. You had your 6'9" and 6'8" guys handling against the pressure, and they passed it out of bounds.
Exactly, and you know what? If you're Dukes that time, you give it to Fenn, you're thinking he's going to take it to the basket and pull up and shoot it. You don't want him in the playmaking capacity all that much.
Knapp triggers from 3, and he hits.
You know what? I've had enough. I'm struggling. Forget it. I'm coming off this ball screen, and I'm firing it.
6 points for Knapp.
I want to play another game tomorrow night.
It's a 1-point game. Well, you know, he and Isaiah Stewart have known nothing other than making it into the MAAC championship game in their entire college career.
And Canisius, on the flip side, hasn't been there. So, in terms of experience, and you know, it showed in the game between Marist and Iona in those defining moments in the second half when the winner takes control of it and pulls away just a slight bit. The experience factor, very important. And here today, though, Canisius, to this point, done a solid job. And Siena, no quitting that ball club.
Dari Mallory was the story in the first half. That's his first point here in the second half. He's got 14. Foster in, Dukes goes out.
Fenn checking out as well. Substitutions here, wholesale, retail, whatever you want to call it.
One for another.
Very generous usage of the bench by both head coaches.
Mallory getting closer, ever closer to that career high. He's got 15, and we have a timeout. The all-time three-point shooter in MAAC history, Scott Knapp, trying to keep his Saints from Siena close to the Griffs. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this.
St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey. For more than 125 years, St. Peter's College has offered students from all economic, cultural, and social backgrounds an unsurpassed education in liberal arts, business, education, the sciences, and more, including championship athletic programs that stress academic excellence. St. Peter's College, diverse, international, Catholic, Jesuit, with campuses in Jersey City and Englewood Cliffs. St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey.
The Canisius cheerleaders enjoying what they've seen so far. The Golden Griffins lead by 3, trying to reach the MAAC Finals tomorrow night. Here's a look at the Chase MAAC Rookies of the Week throughout the season. And what a list it was. The #1 star on that list, though, turns out to be John Reimold. He wound up being named the 2001 MAAC Rookie of the Year on Thursday night at the awards banquet here at the HSBC Arena. Brought to you by Pepsi. Reimold, the Rookie of the Year. And really, a bright future for Scott Hicks and his Greyhounds from Loyola. Reimold will be right in the middle of it for the next 3 years.
Well, this was a real good ball game as we expected. Canisius up 3. A little less than 12 minutes to go.
Well, in both of the regular season meetings, Jack, Canisius opened up big leads. The one out here in Buffalo at the Kessler Center, the Griffs held on and won by a wide margin. Now the game, as Bentig blocks Knapp, the game at the Pepsi. We've got a whistle. The ball goes out of bounds. The pass appeared to be untouched. It's Siena ball. What they missed, I think, was Prosper Karangwa grabbing a handful of jersey.
We will see it right here on the replay. Torrey Jefferson not happy about it. Great block by Bentig. And then we go the other way, as we can see. Look at, oh yeah, he did. He got the jersey.
He held up Jefferson. Here's Justin Miller. Missed the layup after Bush went down.
Jefferson not happy with that call. He snatched that rebound.
So as I was saying, that game at the Pepsi, Canisius had the big 20-point lead, relinquished the lead, because Canisius have the killer instinct now to keep Siena down. If they get any sort of lead, they're up by 3 right now.
Well, this is the defining moment. And, you know, we talk about Canisius' fatigue playing 3 days in a row. But I'll tell you what, it ain't easy either playing the late game, the 3-6 game, and coming back and having to play. I had that experience 2 years, but we had to play at least at nighttime, a 7 o'clock start. This time, you've got to play at 2:30. Quick turnaround. Fatigue a factor for both.
They got to get turnaround pay.
We get it? Easy.
No. All right, let's go back over to Glenn.
Thanks, Doug. Guys, keep in mind 4 players as we wind down. This game's getting real good. Every great team, every championship team usually has a guy that could break you down and score points when that shot clock is kicking down. From Siena's standpoint, you know who it is. It's Knapp and Archibald. And from Canisius' standpoint, it's Bentig and Fenn. Those are the guys that are the go-to guys in nitty-gritty time. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Glenn. Here is Knapp after getting a shot blocked right to the basket again to Justin Miller, who was fouled by Mallory.
What a gorgeous block that was on a baseline. And then Knapp with the penetration and the feed down the lane.
I should also add with Glenn's point, in the big come-from-behind win for Siena over Canisius at the Pepsi, Andy Cabo was the running mate of Scott Knapp in that big comeback.
Look at that pass down the lane. And
Cabo in the mix right there.
You talk about guys that can make plays off the bounce. How about Isaiah Stewart? He made some huge ones last night to get his team over the hump. But Archibald was the one that made that pass for the winning shot for Stewart. So a lot of versatility on the Siena team, and a lot of people can make plays. And speaking of making plays, Scott Knapp coming out of the game right now. That was a terrific pass down the lane. I coached in this league when Scott was a freshman, and he was a guy that was just scratching the surface. I mean, real good shooter, and he's improved so much in terms of his playmaking skills. I really like what I see.
Mallory double-teamed, and he stepped out of bounds.
That's what we talked about now. Does Canisius have what it takes to put this game away? They're only up 2, but more importantly, they've had the lead for a while. This was a problem last night against Niagara. The token three-quarter court pressure, a little bit of pressure in half court. Canisius guards a little tentative and not bringing it to the right spots on the floor. Keep it out of that spot right there. That's the trap area.
Archibald on the fade. Too long. Foster the rebound.
Not a good shot.
Midway through the second half here at the HSBC Arena. Along with Jack Armstrong and Glenn Consor, this is Doug Sherman. Glad you could join us for our MAAC semifinals. The double team by Miller forces the ball back out to Bentic. Karang with a rebound.
Bentic has missed his last 2 threes, and you know what? He doesn't look as fluid in his delivery on his shots. 3 games of making big plays as a way of doing it.
Cabo can't get the roll on the 3. That would have put the Saints back on top.
Good job here. Mike McDonald slowing his troops down. Organization. They're laboring right now. They have the lead. But clearly, Siena, the last few minutes, has been more efficient. You know what? They're jogging for their cuts right now. They're not efficient. You don't hear the squeaking of the sneakers at this stage.
Foster. Here comes Isaiah Stewart, one-on-one with Benton. Stewart missed it. Cabo is going to be called for the foul. Andy Cabo whistled for the over-the-back.
Oh, great hustle getting back. Bush getting back. Toby Foster. Mike McDonald knowing right now his squad not even close on the efficiency scale. Good play inside. Look at Stewart, but look at the hustle right here. Bentic exhausted, getting back though. Just changing that shot. Look at Bush getting back. Hustle makes it happen. You agree with that? I mean, in terms of the squeaking of the sneakers,
absolutely.
The Christmas of the passes, the Christmas of the cuts, it's not there right now for Canisius. It is definitely time right now where they're on the ropes.
Jack, you're 100% right. One of the things that both teams are going to have to do right now is make good basketball decisions. When Isaiah Stewart stole the ball on that play, all he should have done was slow down a little bit, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1 fast break. When it comes down to nitty-gritty time, and this is a great game, you have to make those plays, make those basketball plays. Sometimes, I know it's hard to do, but you got to slow down.
Thank you, Glenn. And back at the other end, Canisius makes them pay for not cashing in. They hit 2 free throws and open the lead back to 4.
You know, we talk about in the open, fight through the fatigue. One of the keys for Canisius today. Mental toughness. What's the old line in sports? Sports not only builds character, it reveals it. And when you get tired, you find out how tough you are mentally.
Archibald posting Dukes. Backing down, and a blocking foul against Dukes.
It's like me calling Toby Foster Justin Miller. I mean, my brain's turning to mush. I'm tired. I got to fight through the fatigue and toughen up.
I know what your character's all about, Jack. I know you'll be fine.
I'll try my best.
I know you will.
I've run 6 marathons in my life, so
6 now.
I've hit the wall on a few occasions.
Karangwa, no. Berman the tip, no. Fenn the rebound.
22-23 is not fun.
can't imagine. For me,
He's tired right now. It's going to be Jack Armstrong. Jack Armstrong's not going to. He's not going to let the fatigue get him. He's going to hang in. He's going to be diving on loose ball, taking charges, getting deflections.
Foster stepped down the sideline. Good call. Siena gets it back.
Joe DeMayo, the official, slipped a little bit in front of him. He's so emphatic on his call.
Getting down to show that he had the perfect angle to make that call.
Everybody's getting into this one. Real good game, game one. We've had 4 straight good games in this tournament.
The 2 nighttime quarterfinals last night, one on game-winning shots by Bentic for Canisius and Stewart for Siena.
First game between Iona and Marist.
Iona able to hold off the Reds' boxes throughout the second half. Tight throughout, though. Karangwa fouled by Bentic.
That's what I love about this league. You know, I watch a lot of other conference tournaments. And sometimes a team will get up 5, 6, 7 points, and the other guy's mailing it in. You know, and the thing I love about this league is the fact that every possession, cut, pass, screen, contested. And if these players don't do it, they are on the bench. I mean, the discipline.
Jack, you get me psyched. I'm about to run into the locker room, get my sneakers on, jump over the bench, and then shoot a few J's.
You got the green light, Clem.
Thanks.
Here's James Clinton. Up fake. Foster doesn't go for it. Makes it a real tough shot. Foul against Torrey Jefferson or James Clinton.
Well, James Clinton, he missed the shot, went to go get it, and he went over the back.
So Jefferson will go to the other end and shoot free throws.
Number 33, James Clinton. That's his 4th personal.
Number 4 on James Clinton, number 9 against Siena.
Decision time for Louis Orr right now. Do you keep him in? He's been so effective. He's got 4 fouls. It's kind of that gray area right now. 7:44 in the game. Do you buy 2 minutes and play in the final 5, or do you say, you know what, I'm stuck 4. I'm on the other guy's home court. Even though they're wearing the blue shirts, I'm the highest seed. Do I stick with him? He hasn't played much for me this year anyway. It's a pretty commodity that he's giving me right now.
Stewart the rebound. Fenn kept it alive. The Saints with it. Canisius 55, Siena 51. 7.5 minutes to go here in the second half. Isaiah Stewart. No.
Oh, gotta watch out. He almost got called over the back right there.
It'll be Canisius ball when we come back to the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. The hometown Golden Griffins trying to reach the tournament finals. They lead by 4 on the MAAC television network. Canisius 55, Siena 51. 7:27 left to go here in the second half from the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. The MAAC semifinals. 2 decades of MAAC basketball brings out the lists of all-stars, the top 20 players in the 20-year history of the MAAC, determined earlier this year. And it's up for a lot of debate. There are some names that didn't make it. And Jack, you've got one that I know you really want to stump for.
Oh, you know what? This man is a little bit upset. There he is! John Leonard, the assistant commissioner of the MAAC, one of the great players in Manhattan history. He's a little upset that he didn't make the all-time team.
You can see it on his face a little bit right there. The problem is a technicality. He played at Manhattan prior to the formation of the MAAC.
Okay.
So he doesn't qualify.
But if he had played, no question.
Between Lionel Simmons and John Leonard for all-time player. DeWitt Doss at the point for Canisius, out there with Clive Bentic, Toby Foster. Here's Darren Fenn, and he kicks too hard a pass to Jefferson out of bounds.
Right idea, too much on it.
Bullet pass. Let's go back over to Glenn.
Guys, after that timeout, Mike McDonald told his team, we have to keep it ugly. I was behind the bench, and he looked up right at me after he said that. It's kind of scared me a little bit. I told him then to go play a 2-3 zone. What do I care? No, but anyway, he really told his team defensively that the team has to scrape and scrap, get every loose ball, and push the ball up the floor to get some easy baskets. One thing that is jumping out at me is that Canisius is doing a fabulous job on the defensive boards. There's very few second chance opportunities for Siena.
In the last 2 games that they played, they gave up 24 offensive rebounds, so much better job today controlling the glass.
And when Mike McDonald says we need to play ugly, was he talking about anybody in particular he wanted to put into the game?
Only 8 offensive rebounds for both teams. So both teams have done a solid job controlling the glass.
Scott Knapp will go to the line to shoot 2. The foul on Clive Bentic. That, I believe, is number 4 on Clive.
That's what I'm talking about with Knapp. I mean, he's improved the playmaking ability so much. You got to get by Bentic. He's getting the lane, lean. Look to draw the foul.
7th team foul against Canisius. And there is number 4 on Bentic as Knapp shoots 2.
Clive Bentic wondering where the foul was on that play, saying, I know I was in the neighborhood, but where was the contact?
That's the first point, Jack, for either team in almost 3 minutes. We have been stuck on 55-51 for a while. Now mass substitutions.
It's like a game of field position here in football. Yep. Both teams just punting. 3 and out.
But it's been here in the second half. Not as much flow to it.
You got to get some field position, get the field goal.
Knapp hits them both. He has 8. Massarello now comes in, replacing Archibald. So reset the lineups. Stewart, Knapp, Massarello, Cavo, and Miller for Siena. Dukes, Fenn, Doss, Bush, and Mallory for the Golden Griffins.
It might be a silly point. When you play a team that substitutes quite a bit, and particularly when you get into the transition game, what happens is late in the game, sometimes there's confusion in terms of who do you have, because guys keep coming in and out. Occasionally you get an open 3 or an open look because of the fact that it's like, oh, I forgot he subbed in. It happens.
Ryan Duke started by Stewart. Fenn.
Good play there.
Foul on Cavo holding Bush. He knew that he had been beaten on that play.
That was a real nice look by Darren Fenn.
Foul at number 2.
That's 5 fouls. Cavo fouled out of the game.
Andy Cavo fouls out. We send it back over to Glenn Consor.
2 points.
Guys, I'm gonna toss this question off to you guys. If you're Louis Orr right now, and you know that Canisius might be a little fatigued, you got 5:53 left in the game. I gotta believe that full court pressure is the thing to do right now. Just try to wear him down a little bit, get some deflections, get the press on, try to get Bentic out of the game a little bit. What do you think, Jack?
I agree. The one problem is you got to make shots to get into your press, and they've been unable to do that. It's been an ugly game. It's just been an exchange of possessions. And as you know, Glenn, you got to make some shots or have dead ball scenarios to set your defense. And I think more than anything else, you got to say, hey, make some shots, then we can press. But I agree with you. Canisius has labored a tad bit against pressure. I think if you keep the pressure on, they might crack.
You know, wearing him down right now might not be a bad thing for Siena to do, specifically with Bentic now on the bench.
4 fouls.
There's Coach Orr.
And on the flip side, Clinton playing with 4 fouls. So one coach saying, I got to buy a minute or 2 without my man. And the other saying, look at Fenn. That is stepping forward as a senior. That's just willing himself into getting a rebound.
Justin Miller picks up his 3rd, and so Fenn will go to the line to shoot 2. Darren Fenn, a 71% foul shooter.
That's senior against freshman, both stars here in Western New York. But you know what? Justin Miller's got 3 more seasons to enjoy the college game. Darren Fenn's got no tomorrows.
Senior from Tonawanda.
I mean, Darren Fenn's going to make some money next year at the professional level, wherever that may be, but he will. Bright kid as well, will have his degree in there.
Member of the All-MAAC academic team.
Those cerebral guys.
Knapp left his feet, had nowhere to go. Here come the Golden Griffins running. Fenn the pull-up. No, Bush crashing the rebound, and he puts it in. A huge basket for Andrew Bush. It's a 7-point Canisius lead.
Good timeout by Louis Orr. He needed that right there. That is pure 100% effort. Bush Fenn, the last 2 possessions, getting it done.
Andrew Bush came flying in from nowhere off the Fenn miss. There were white jerseys everywhere, and Bush is the one who got it.
Nice pass, good gather on the shot. Short-armed it a little bit, but look at Bush coming out of nowhere. That time Miller and Clinton a tad bit slow in their coverage in transition. No shot contest on Fenn and no block out on Bush.
Jack and Doug, one of the things that we're seeing right now is that Canisius is getting offensive rebounds. Siena is not. And you know what that means. Nitty-gritty time. Who's going to get the easier shots? 5:23 left in the game. And look at the shots that Canisius is getting. Conversely, Siena really struggling. All their shots are coming from the mid-range game. There's a big difference. What would you rather shoot, a layup or a 10-footer?
As long as you're shooting it, Glenn, it wouldn't matter.
60-53 Canisius, 5:15 to go here in the second. Carmen Massarello with a left-hand dribble. Pass deflected by our guy, Hadari Mallory.
He has been clutch today off the bench. Look at, he's clapping right now. He is so jacked up.
He knows he's playing the game of his life right now.
He sure is. You know what? If you're going to win a championship, you got to have guys each day of the tournament contribute.
13 to shoot. Darren Fenn to Bush. Up fake around Clinton. Back out Dukes.
Oh, Dukes had the look right there.
Dukes can't get the roll. Massarello picks off the rebound for Siena.
Dukes turned down an open 3 and became the playmaker. Got in the lane. Nobody came off to help. Took the shot. Almost went.
Canisius on top by 7. Under 4.5 to play.
Well, with Canisius, you spend the entire time talking to your team about the fact that defense wins championships for you. Gotta get some stops now. And more importantly, when they make shots, as we talked about, your pressure becomes effective when you can set it up. Stewart makes the layup. Now they can set the pressure and bang, turnover quickly.
Absolutely. As Glenn said and you said, make a basket, put the pressure on, see what happens. Siena gets the ball back down 5. Cabo back out. Massarello back out.
That's why I made the point. I love coaches that say, hey, I love to run and press. Well, if you got guys that can't make shots, you're not going to be able to press and run too well. It's still about making shots.
By the way, that field goal by Isaiah Stewart, his first of the game. He was scoreless up until that point.
Last night, he was brilliant.
17. James Clinton. Oh, Foster the rebound.
This is where Siena, when you miss a shot, you don't want to pick up one of those ticky-tack fouls on a rebound where you slap down the ball because you're frustrated because you missed.
Mallory for 3.
Whoa!
Hadari Mallory, big smile on his face. He's got 18 points. And there he is on the steal. Hadari Mallory, headband and all, playing well on both ends of the floor for Canisius. Siena basketball. And a player is down in the Canisius bench.
Foster down in the right corner near the bench.
We'll have more on that when we come back. But Hadari Mallory and the Canisius Golden Griffins on top by 8 on the MAAC television network.
What are those stories?
That about people.
Let's try an interval of about 15 milliseconds. Because that's half of what the piso is.
The aspects of the retreat, like you talked about friendship.
Also about what that knowledge means for the human spirit. I know that students are concerned about that.
This game is brought to you in part by HSBC, your world of financial services. The Pepsi-Cola Company, the joy of Pepsi. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. And by Chase Manhattan Bank, the right relationship is everything. Canisius has its biggest lead of the game on the Siena Saints. Andrew Bush is okay. He was the player for the Griffs who went down hard into the... there you see. Looked like his ankle gave a little bit. But after being down for just a few seconds, he was able to get up, and Bush should be fine.
Gary Mallory has tied his career high with 18 points, by the way, Doug. There he is.
There is Hodari.
What an incredible game he has.
Stewart, Clinton, Knapp, Miller, and Archbold out there for the Saints. 3:20 on the clock. The winner of this one gets Iona tomorrow night for the MAAC championship. Cross-court Clinton, three-pointer. James Clinton, he has his career high tonight as well.
In the category of go figure, the 6'9" guy making threes.
Darren Fenn up and over the scorer's table. Canisius has the ball, able to wait for Fenn to get back on the floor.
Siena now pulling out all the stops. And you know what? When you have a lead late in the game against this team, it's almost like you're under siege. They're just going to come at you.
Foul on Archibald.
Oh, and then a ticky-tack foul that time by Archibald. Good call by Larry Lembo. The fatigue setting in, and you forget you got to move those feet. Instead, he's reaching in with the hand.
That's his second personal.
Number 2, the foul on Archibald to reach in, and Dukes will shoot 2.
Brian Dukes will be at the line for Canisius, shooting 2.
Dukes, a 6'2" sophomore from Orchard Park, averages 10 points a game. That's 7 for him here today. Now Clive Bentic comes back in.
Archibald exhausted. Anytime I see a guy grabbing his shorts, that's a sure sign he's tired. And right now, Archibald, Siena looking a little more fatigued right now than Canisius.
Dukes hits a pair. Let's go back over to Glenn Consor.
Interesting substitution by Mike McDonald, taking Mallory out of the game, putting Bentic and now Dukes back in the game. This is the starting 5, folks, that you're seeing right here, and I think it was a good move because ball control, taking care of the basketball, and not turning it over right now against the Siena defense is going to be critical for Canisius. Hey, guys, you know what? If Canisius wins this game, it'll be the first time a team from the out bracket makes it to the finals in the MAAC conference.
Foul on Justin Miller. That's right, Glenn.
The out bracket. I've never heard of it that way.
The play-in game on the out bracket. In and out. Well, they're feeling good right now. Up 7 with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Justin Miller there picking up his 4th foul. And so back to the free throw line, Brian Dukes. For the game, Canisius 17 for 25 from the line. 68%, which is just about their season average.
You know, you're playing 3 games in 3 days. How hard you work in September, October, running all those miles on the track, the weight room, your commitment to taking care of yourself during the course of the season, your conditioning, the discipline that Mike McDonald's team has right now coming through crystal clear.
9-point Canisius lead, just over 2 minutes left. 67-58. Clinton again for 3. No second opportunities for Siena. Darren Fenn, another big rebound, and the senior from here in Western New York is fired up.
Not a good sign for Siena. I know Clinton's got the hot hand, but when you've got Scott Knapp, Archibald, and Stewart in the game, and you're running a little play for Clinton to shoot threes, things aren't going right for you.
That's his 3rd personal.
Remember I talked earlier about there's always a defining moment in the second half when one team pulls away. And that moment was earlier on when the Fenn and Bush back-to-back made those plays right around the basket. The offensive rebound and Bush, the hustle and transition. That broke this baby open.
Let's send it back over to Glenn.
Doug, Jack is absolutely right. When you think about the personnel that Siena has, they have 3 guys on the floor that shoot over 40% from 3. Then you got Clinton, one of the best low-post players in the league. He's taking those mid-range shots. You want to make sure the ball is in the hands of the guys that can make the threes, especially with 2 minutes left in the go. You got to make up some time and points right here.
Right now, Glenn, down 11. They're going to need some threes. Under 2 minutes to play. Knapp gets a screen from Miller. Here's Clinton again. James Clinton has had the hot hand here today. He has kept Siena close. Isaiah Stewart No good on the three. Massarello saved the right to Jefferson.
This is the possession right here. You take care of it, make your free throws, it's over.
Massarello comes up and tries to draw the charge. He's called for the blocking foul, and that'll send Bentic back to the line.
You know what? Free throws here will almost seal it.
69-58 Canisius. The fans here at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo sensing that this one could be in their hip pocket. Clive Bentic, senior from A. Philip Randolph High School in New York City, connects on the first.
Look at Mike McDonald there. What an incredible job he's done with this team. 10 wins last year, the second best turnaround in school history.
Trying to nail down number 20 right here.
Wow. They made the point last night. They're a team that you could just see it was going to happen this year. I told you a story last night. I went to see Canisius practice in late October. I walked out of practice and I just could not believe what the chemistry was and the growth and maturity of their team. And you can see it now. They have just exploded in terms of their confidence.
Jack and Doug, you know what's great about this game? You got Darren Fenn knocking tables off on the sidelines. You got Massiello on the other side of the floor, diving on a loose ball, going out of bounds. He took out a table. You got guys that are diving on the floor. The excitement in this game is unparalleled. The hustle is tremendous. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Glenn. Justin Miller has just fouled out. We do want to let you know, let's take a look at the Citizens Communications long-distance shooter update. Scott Knapp won it for the second time in his career. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC, once again the proud sponsor of the MAAC Long-Distance Shooter of the Year Award. So at the foul line, Toby Foster.
Toby Foster, as we mentioned before, only a 61% free throw shooter on the season. He's a guy I think you have to shoot behind the three-point line for free throw opportunities.
Could be.
He's pretty accurate behind there.
7 for Foster. 71-58. This game was tight throughout until about 5 minutes ago. Here's Knapp for three. Fenn, that's it. Another big rebound.
In the words of the legendary Dandy Don Meredith, turn out the lights. This party is over.
14 rebounds for Darren Fenn, 12 on the defensive glass here this afternoon. 11 points, 14 rebounds for the senior Darren Fenn, and he has been getting every critical rebound here in the later stages. This copyrighted telecast of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, nor rebroadcast without the express written consent of the MAAC and MAAC Properties. Toby Foster.
Bitter pill to swallow for a team that's been to the MAAC Finals 3 straight years and won it the last time it was here in Buffalo 2 short years ago.
You know what, though, Jack? The season may not be over for Siena. They've got 20 wins and certainly will receive NIT consideration.
No question. And with the following at the Pepsi Arena in Albany, it always has an influence on the NIT committee selection.
Massarello with the rebound. Forget the NIT. They're still thinking about making the MAAC Finals, back within 11. Foul on Knapp. Foster will go back to the line.
Yeah, I made the point earlier. Even when you're up late in games, you're the one that's on the defensive because you're under siege.
Right.
I mean, Siena, it's like you almost feel like they've got 8 guys out there guarding the 5 of you. You've just got to maintain your poise, meet your passes, 2-hand catches, anything else, any problems, use your timeouts, no panic. Easier said than done, though, Doug.
So far, Canisius doing the job, up by 11. Foster missed the first, he'll get a second.
By the way, before, if I don't get a chance, I want to just say it's been a tremendous pleasure working with you these 6 games. I've had a tremendous time working with you.
Likewise, Jack. Thank you very much.
You do a great job.
Thank you. Great to have you on board.
And of course, it's just as much an honor having Glenn back here flying in from Palm Springs.
Got him back from the beach. Austin Andrews, after the rebound, he puts it in. Back to a 9-point game.
Knapp with the incredulous look on his face, like, me? You know what? Dukes wouldn't have hit the floor if there wasn't contact.
And so back we walk to the other end of the court. You can see Mike McDonald enjoying this immensely.
He should. He should. And it's great to see. We have a timeout on the floor for Siena.
Louis Orr wants to talk things over with 35.5 seconds to go here in the second half.
You know, as crazy as this sounds, and there's almost a moment now you have a little bit of time to bring your kids down a little bit here if you're Canisius and say, you know what, make our free throws here. Let's get the W, celebrate somewhat. We got business to take care of. As much as this is a great accomplishment, getting to the finals, you got it out for 3 days. Now's not the time to celebrate. The time to celebrate's about 9:30 tomorrow night.
And that date will be with the Iona College Gales. Iona won the noontime game from Marist to reach the finals yet again. It almost seemed destined that Siena and Iona would meet again. We've seen it twice in the last 3 years. But here, the Golden Griffins, from that play-in game, are making people say, hey, these Griffs are for real.
Mike McDonald's doing that, too. I mean, he took over for John Beeline, who did such a tremendous job at Canisius. And a lot of times when you take over a guy who's had so much success, and Mike was a huge part of that as the assistant, recruiting the players, bringing them along. It's so tough to match that. We've seen it so many times with coaches. And a lot of times alumni and boosters and administrators compare you, which is completely unrealistic. Mike McDonald is now on his own, carving out his own niche as a head coach at Canisius. Will now be 57 and 56 on his career.
And you know, Jack, the last time Canisius won 20 games in a single season was under John Beeline in 1994 and 1995. They went 21 and 14.
Mike was the top assistant on that staff, so it's just nice to see a guy who's paid his dues and put in his time as an assistant coach for so many years under Marty Marback and John Beeline at Canisius. And how about that guy? Talk about a recruiting coup here in Western New York. Hadari Mallory, the Buffalo product, our player of the game, deservedly so.
And Darren Fenn could easily have won it as well. Rebound number 15 for another Western New York kid. But congratulations also to Mallory, our Pepsi player of the game. Pepsi, the joy of Pepsi.
What's the cute statement these days? X Factor? I would say Hadari Mallory was the X Factor today for the Griffs.
The one on the Siena scouting report when
Get
you're
out of the
looking
way,
at Canisius.
Mike. We're trying to get Hadari.
You don't think about Hadari Mallory. You don't expect 18 points out of Hadari Mallory. Shot clock off. Siena giving chase. Bentic running away. Stewart fouls him with 23 seconds to go. It's a 10-point game. And the Golden Griffins go back to the line.
Once again, you know, Mike McDonald now in a position with his team to just get them to not only enjoy this moment, and you should, and at the same time, you've got a big task tomorrow night playing Iona, who swept you during the season. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They split during the season at Iona. Iona won, and here at Canisius in Buffalo, Canisius was able to win. Blew them out, actually. My fault.
Here come the two senior walk-ons for Siena to replace the two senior co-captains.
Right.
And a well-deserved round of applause for Isaiah Stewart, the hero in last night's game, and Scott Knapp, the all-time three-point shooter in the history of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Classy move.
Their MAAC careers come to a close.
Classy move by Coach Orr. And Rob Connors and Brian Scalzo checking in the game.
So here is Brian Scalzo with the ball, 20 seconds left. Connors is open in the corner. James Clinton. 8 seconds to go. Save to Scalzo. Massarello at the buzzer, no, and the Canisius Golden Griffins from the 7th seed to the MAAC championship game. Canisius upsets Siena 76-64. The Golden Griffins win their 20th game, and they'll face the Gales tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for the MAAC title. We'll take a break and come back to wrap things up from the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. 76-64, Canisius rolls on the MAAC Television Network. Canisius 76, Siena 64. The Golden Griffins win their MAAC semifinal, and they go on to the championship game tomorrow night to take on the Iona Gales. Welcome back, everybody, to Buffalo, along with Jack Armstrong. This is Doug Sherman, and the Golden Griffins just keep surprising people.
Win number 20, and all the credit's got to go out to collectively the Griffs as a unit. Played so well together. Great game plan by the guy Glenn's going to have on right now.
Let's send it over to Glenn, standing by with Coach Mike McDonald. Glenn?
Thanks, guys. We're here with Mike McDonald, a very happy Mike McDonald. And, Mike, you have to be proud, just so proud of not only the effort, but the fact that you guys have played 3 games in 3 days. Now you might be the first team ever in the MAAC conference to win the MAAC tournament if you win tomorrow night. Coming in the out bracket, what are your thoughts?
Well, we're also going to be the first home team, I believe, right? So we got a lot of things we're going to break. We're going to have to try and break tomorrow. I am very proud, Glenn. I really am. I thought it was a great game. Siena played great. They really did. Both teams were just slugging it out. I think both teams were a little tired, and the shots showed it. But I thought we got a great lift from our bench. Adari Mallory and DeWitt Doss gave us great minutes. And Andy Bush, as usual, gives us great minutes. And it was just like we were just going after each other. It was great. It was a lot of fun. It was a great game. And, a lot of credit to Siena, but we're very happy to be moving on.
Now, Mike, you were so positive during the course of the game. Obviously, now you have to go back, talk to your team. What do you talk about tomorrow night's game?
How the hell are we going to beat Iona? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do there. You got any advice?
I'm not sure. That's your job.
Where's Armstrong? Can we get him over here?
Hey, Mike, great job. Super job. Congratulations.
Thanks, Glenn.
Let's go back to Doug and Jack.
All right, thank you, Glenn, and congratulations to Mike McDonald. Fantastic, fantastic. Let's check out the brackets as we have just 2 teams standing in the 2001 MAAC tournament. Iona, number 1.